Okay, so hopping on here because I had a realization about the book that I wanted to share. I think I mentioned I'm going to be a little nervous when it comes to theme, not really knowing what an overarching theme is yet. I tend to think more in terms of events. But I had a realization, like I said. So I'm coming back to this quote. It might be my first scene, but an early scene is when Saber's talking to Mother Bridget, who's kind of downplaying this big adventure that she's going to go on. And one thing Mother Bridget says is, "It'll be all right. There's no such thing as a new country for the people who come to it. They bring along their own ways and their own bits of things and make it like the old as fast as they can." And I feel like that could be used to describe so much of this story in a bigger sense. So, for example, one of the things they bring with them is their bigotry. And some things that really are frustrating the book are the ways that they continue to judge, like, for example, this Dixie character, who is one of the ladies that works in the brothel. And they eventually tear her whole life apart. And I had alluded to another great video about how these are the women that built the West in a lot of ways. And so Sabra, who is this very hard-working woman, still is bringing with her her old beliefs about gender and gender roles. And with that, there are people that bring along their anti-Semitism. There are people that bring along their beliefs about the Native Americans. And so we have characters that are foraging to the new and the different and the exciting. And we have someone like Yancey who's completely insatiable and is never satisfied with anything that's the same. So we have this reoccurring theme of like, man, he's never stayed in the same place more than 4 years. And that causes a lot of tragedy by him never getting to sit still and always needing change. But we also have some of these other characters who do the sticking around, which in a lot of ways is very noble. But also there is kind of the hardening of their hearts and the idea that they stay the same on the inside. That causes conflict as well. So later, when Sabra's son wants to marry a Native American, and her resistance there, based on things the way she was raised, and probably how her parents and grandparents and all these different things, this is not something where she's comfortable with that type of social change. And so I think that could be an interesting kind of lattice work to hang a lot of these events on, is the theme of in what ways do we change and in what ways can we not sit still? What ways do we need change? And in what ways is that good? And what ways do we desperately not want things to change? And so the way that she wants so badly to recreate her old life, for Sabra going into this new world, and then finding out as she goes back that she really wants nothing to do with that old life. She loves the new life where there's everything to do and all the women to do it. But then also still bringing along a lot of the kind of the toxic ideas as well and the damage that that can do. So I think that could be something that could tie a lot of disparate events together through the lens of how are people really not changing and how are people being forced to change, and how are they seeking new things and also seeking simply to recreate the old. So I think that could be an interesting theme that could play throughout the whole thing.